Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I also want to thank the chairman of the committee for bringing this bill. I rise in strong support of H.R. 1156, the Pandemic Unemployment Fraud Enforcement Act. There's an old expression that we've all heard at one time or another about the somewhat famous bank robber Willie Sutton. He was asked, "Why do you rob banks?" And his answer was, "Because that's where the money is." Well, that is exactly what happened with expanded pandemic unemployment insurance during the pandemic. We all lived through it. We saw it. I had a front row seat as a state law enforcement official at the time. We saw enormous, unprecedented amounts of money shoveled from this town out into state unemployment systems that were ill-equipped to handle them. And you know what? We didn't just know that. The fraudsters, the criminals, the organized criminal enterprises knew it too. And they saw opportunity, they saw that's where the money was, and they chased it. And they stole enormous amounts of money. In the case of my state, Kansas, a subsequent forensic audit suggests about $466 million in documentable stolen pandemic funds. So the question is, what are we going to do about it? I'll tell you what we did about it as state officials at the time. We looked to our federal partners because we worked closely. Everybody was dealing with a circumstance we hadn't seen before. And we were assured that our federal partners had the tools, had the capacity, had the reach to exceed our borders and reach out and touch these transnational criminal organizations operating from overseas that stole money from our taxpayers right here at home. So we deferred. We relied on the assurances that the federal government was going to step up and enforce the law to its full extent. And now here we are 5 years later. And not just by happenstance, but because of decisions made in this body by people who came before us, the sun is about to set on the ability of the federal government to do what it promised to do, because there is a statutorily enacted statute of limitations that shuts the door on further prosecutions in only a few short days. It is within our power to change that decision, to let the federal government follow through on its promise, to bring to bear whatever tools we have to try to recover whatever portion of that remaining stolen money is available to be recovered. Why on earth would we not do that? It is the right thing to do for our taxpayers. It is the right thing to do for the rule of law. It is just the right thing to do. We should abandon the see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil approach that is the status quo. We should adopt this bill, extend the statute of limitations, let our dedicated federal law enforcement authorities do their jobs, keep chasing this money, and bring back whatever they can find. I support the bill. I'm grateful for the leadership, and I yield back.